What's up, guys? This is Tanner Hench of TH Media. You're watching Cloudy Conversations.
What's going on, everybody? Back again with another episode. It's your girl, Big T, Cloudy Conversations. And as you see, we got the one and only Tanner Hench in the building of TH Media.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We in the house today. Well, just me. But, yep, I'm here.
Yes, for those who've been tuned in since the beginning, you know this is our second time interviewing him. Probably like the third or fourth time we did something with him between the showcases. But that was about a couple years ago, so life has definitely expanded and went up, in my opinion, since then. So we definitely had to bring him back and just tap back in.
Definitely.
So as I mentioned, the last interview was in 2022. So what has life been like for you since?
A lot of ups and downs. I would say there were probably more downs than ups for the most part. Like life isn't exactly what it's always looks like on the gram, and things are like definitely getting in a better place now. And I mean, they have been like working their way towards this for a while, but it was just like a lot of lessons that had to be learned and a lot of growth that had to be had. And I was telling you before we started, like whenever we shot that interview before, that was like probably one of the cockier points in my life that I didn't really have much of a reason to be cocky, except I like had some bread in my bank account. But even then, it really wasn't anything much at all. So just like a lot of humility gained and really like in delving in the hard work aspect of things. Like whereas before I would I think I would give people I think I had a lower standard for what I would give people for what they were giving me like for their money, which I don't know if I always realized that at the time. But now it's just like I just want to go as hard as I can on every video, not just because like I feel like I owe it to anybody, but which I technically do because people pay me for their videos, so that's not what I meant. But like I got like such a love for the craft and such a love for the art and like a respect for the art, so I just want to just show people like how cool videos can be.
Every
I
time
guess.
you do it, which makes sense because one of the questions that I had was a key point from that interview. I remember was you talked about how many videos you were able to put out. I think it was like 100 or something, and then it was like 200. It was like a lot of videos in a short time frame. So do you think the question was, are you still putting out at that volume? And if not, like what contributed to that?
That's a good question. So definitely I remember in 2022, I did over 100 videos. In 2023, I also did over 100 videos. In 2024, that past year was rough. So like I really didn't keep track of all the videos I shot, which is bad because taxes are coming up and I got to go back and find all this stuff now. So I really kind of played myself with that, but I just like wasn't really in the greatest place mentally. So I was just kind of like going through the motions with a lot of stuff. But I don't really think it was. I mean, some of it then I'd say in the 2023 portion of things, it was like content, get it out. And then I remember getting to a point sometimes I was just like, I just didn't feel like the same passion that I had because I was just like pushing to get things out and not like being intentional about like what I was creating or why I was creating or like trying to progress and make things better. And I think whenever I say like I was in a more depressive period of my life, I think I was pushing that into videos in a positive way because I didn't have as much confidence in myself. So I was trying to like show that through the videos and be like, yeah, I'm turned. Not like I'm turned, but like it was something I wanted to be proud of because I felt like I wasn't really proud of myself, I guess.
And that's kind of like surprising to hear you say, but not also because, like you said, everything isn't what you see. Yeah. But if you would just base it off of the work, like you had the momentum, people kept coming to you, so you would think that the formula was working. Yeah. So it also speaks to, like you said, the love for the craft you have. Because was anybody complaining about the product you were turning over? Like,
sometimes, like I'd say, like maybe 2023, like mid in there around that time. But it was just like I think COVID to an extent, and I'm not trying to fully blame it on that, but I think COVID gave us such like a false expectation of like the amount of money we should be making, and we didn't really know where to like. It just goes for all of us in a creative space. We didn't really know where the cap was for what we should be charging people, and I feel like now it's like a little bit more of a reasonable amount, and I'm not taking my work for granted. And that was the big thing about it, is like I was taking a lot of the work that I was getting for granted, and it's like, nah, I can't think like that, because it's really a blessing to be able to do like what I love for a living, especially, and for people to be able to see like that I can get somewhere with it, and that they can do the same thing. It's just like I can't do nothing but put my time and effort in to the fullest amount to like make sure they get a great product. And then at the same time, like I didn't know near as much when it came to editing and filming and everything back then too. So it felt like higher effort for me to get them a better quality product, as to where it's now. It's like I know a bunch of different style effects. I know different styles of filming, and I mean, like, my filming has its style, but it's like I can still do, like, if you want to do storyline, run and gun, like, more structure, just like things like that to make sure that everybody's getting their money's worth out of what they want.
And when you made that change, or consciously start putting that effort in, what was the reception from the clients?
I don't really know if I noticed an immediate reception of the clients. Like I did start hearing people like say the videos were harder and stuff, and it was definitely encouraging. But there was a key portion I remembered where I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go as hard as I can on every video, and then hopefully something's gonna come from it, because like I already got people that care about me and what I'm doing. But if I can, like, I know more stuff, so I can put more into each video. And then I had a similar thought like 2-3 months ago, or maybe it was more than that. It's March right now? Yeah. I think it was probably in November, where I was like editing a video, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go as hard as I can. And then as soon as I thought that, I was like, I've had that thought before, but now I have a different definition for what's going as hard as I can. So it was a cool little moment, but I was just like, all right, like, yeah, I can have a little more confidence in this now, and see where things are going. Also, I'm a little sick right now, and I also have allergies, so that's why I sound a little congested.
Disclaimer, guys.
Clean the mic after.
You're good. But no, that makes sense, because I can see it like in the sense of like before it used to be how many videos you can get out in a time span, and now it's like how many quality videos like that you probably it's my style, but you didn't necessarily see it yet. Yeah. So yeah.
And even like with the amount of videos getting put out, it's like it's kind of a different scenario now too, to where it's like I still want to put a lot of videos out because I like to put out the content, but it's like I also need the quality to continue to go up. And then doing the Mike Johns now too, that's like extra content to put in there. So it feeds that it feeds a little more on the social media aspect, like to keep people fed. I know I kind of just said the same thing.
No, yeah, because it's like, do you feel like the Mike John is also, besides it being a nice platform, it gives the people who might can't afford the all the way Tanner video a chance to still work with Tanner? Yeah,
and the the coolest thing about that too. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna crack this water.
Go ahead.
I did not. I kept getting a tickle in my throat every time I talk.
It's because you're used to being on the other side of the can.
So the cool thing about that, I would say, is I used to not care that much about like customer experience, but now it's just like I know people view me in a different way because I've gotten opportunities. So it's like if you're getting a video from me, whether it be a music video or a Mike John, like I'm always going to try my best to have a good conversation with people and be encouraging and like give them the TH media experience, so to say, just because like I know I got intelligence to offer. I'm not trying to be cocky or nothing either, but it's like I know I have knowledge and experience to talk to people and encourage them and be like, look, like, you're talented for a reason. Like, God gave us all our talents, and we can use them, you know?
And that's important.
Yeah, and I think a big thing about me is, like, I just want to build other people up and show them that this stuff is possible.
And that's key, and that's not even a form of cockiness. That's a part of the responsibility. If anything, now that you have gained experience and a sense of a reputation and people looking to you for that type of advice. It's one thing if you're just going around spewing out a bunch of information that nobody's asking for, but you know, when people are in your presence or they're paying for you know, something, your craft, it's only right to, like you said, give them a full experience of, like, if it is just giving you encouragement outside of, like, I know you paid me to be here, but, like, I kind of like your music too. So
and there's always a fine line too, because it's like, I don't like to talk to people enough and be like, and like, I don't like to try to brag in the conversations I have with people, but I also know that sometimes they want to hear about that stuff just because they're curious. So it's like, I don't try to be like, yeah, I did this, because in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter. And all the opportunities are cool and all, and I care about it. But what I care about most is, like, the community that I'm in, and just being able to offer them wisdom from a voice that they may have been, like, wanting to hear, but, like, nobody, like pouring into the community and just, like, encouraging, like I was saying.
Yeah, because shoot, even before we started the interview, we was coming in here and somebody, Tanner, hey.
Yeah, we were. This is gonna be the most coughing interview ever, but So I pulled up, and earlier today, I was on my way to the diner to get some food for my girl and I. I was just getting it carry out, and then I was at a yellow light, and I thought the person in front of me was gonna turn right, but they let the person going left take the right away. And then I slammed my brakes, and I have my green screen. It's like a 10-foot long round briefcase type thing. So I have it go from my trunk to the front, and I stick it under the headrest, and I slammed on the brake, and that joint just, like, whoop, right into my windshield and put a crack in my windshield. So that was like, yeah, that was fun. So now I got to get that figured out. But then homie outside, he was like, I'm sorry if you're watching this and I don't know your name. But he was like, yo, what's up, Tanner? He was like, how you doing? I was like, man, I was better before my windshield got cracked. And he was like, yo, go to this place in Middletown. I was like, all right, bet.
Just all over, like, I don't necessarily know how I know you, but you know me. You gave great advice. So, like, examples of how, like, you being a good person and being receptive to the community and people, you know, because I feel like one thing, word of mouth spreads often. So it's like, even if somebody wants a video from you, and they're like, oh, he do a good video, but he's an asshole. So just be like, so you don't want to hear that, like.
And I think the other thing about word of mouth is, like, that kind of hurt me before, because people would be like, yo, he doesn't go as hard for so-and-so, da-da-da-da-da. And that was one of those things where whenever I was like, yeah, I'm going to go as hard as I can on every video, I was like, it don't matter. Like, I don't want anybody to ever have that perception that I want to treat, like, one person better than the other. Like, I'm going to do as much as I can with whatever the budget is allocating, or, like, even more to that extent, like, within the edits. I just want to make sure that, like, people are satisfied with the product, and that I can have a happy customer coming back and, like, build relationships with these people.
Which is important, but also on that end, it's like, how has your pricing necessarily changed with the skill upgrade?
It went down. Kind of. So, like, I'm not gonna, like, get too involved in pricing within like number range, but, like, what I was saying about COVID is because there was money out in the street. Like, let's be real, there was a lot of money out in the streets, and people were willing to pay more. And then it was just like, even I said about a creative space either, but I think one of the biggest ones is, like, barbers. Like, barbers went up in price so much, and I mean, they came down a little bit since then, but I think there's just been, like, business practices that it's like, since a lot of us were doing real work, we were like, all right, we deserve more because these people are getting handouts. And there's nothing wrong with getting handouts either, because, like, a lot of people needed it at the time. But I think there was, like, a jealousy aspect involved, and I think this is where the humility came in, was just being like, all right, like, maybe I'm not worth as much as I thought I once was. Which is that was, like, one of the things that kind of went into that depressing period of time for me, because like I went from like up here mentally and financially to like down here, and I was just like, yo, like, because I'm running my own business, and it's not just a sense of like, oh, this sucks, I'm not getting bookings. It's like you feel like you failed.
Yeah.
And I knew down in my heart it wasn't gonna be like that forever, but it's still just like,
It sucks.
yeah, it sucks. And it was just like a very reflective point of time where I'm just like, all right, I got to be willing to do more for less, and I got to be willing to push myself if I want to be getting that again. So that was one of those big
Turning points.
yeah, it was a big turning point, but it was like over time for a while, for sure.
I think it's the things you're speaking to are definitely important, because I can relate to it in an aspect of when the money was around and everybody's like, I don't care what it costs,
Yeah.
I'm going to pay it. Like, oh,
Right.
okay, cool. You don't care. Now it's just like, well, kind of got this better. Can you work with this? It's like, wait, hold up.
Yep.
So it's like you have to figure
Yeah.
out new ways to maneuver. And
Yeah, and the thing is, like, too, it's like, I think part of the humbling that was a little bit easy, it's like you really got to take a step back and be like, okay, like, I still get to do what I love, and if I put the time in, it's going to continue to pay off. It sucks that it's not where I want to be right now, but I know if I put that work in and I stay dedicated, then it is going to pay off eventually again. But you just got to be patient. And I'm not even saying like I was oh my goodness, I'm so sorry.
You're good.
I'm not even saying I was only doing videos at that point too. Like, I don't remember if I said it in the other interview, but my dad, he owns a flooring business, and I do the carpet cleaning for him. I still do that because I also just don't want to create all the time, and it's like I still need to make some extra money, you know? So it's just, I think that's another, and I mean, I'm kind of branching off at this point, but I think a lot of artists can be potentially like scared to get jobs and work sometimes because they're like, oh, I don't want to compromise the creative aspect of things. But on the contrary, you're letting your creativity build up while you're in a non-creative space, and then you can just fully unload that whenever you're in the studio, you're in front of a camera, whatever, because you're going to have more of a budget to do it.
And it serves as more of a motivation, because I still work a full-time job outside of everything I do with the studio. And when I'm in that space, I'm like, bro, I can't wait to like get off so I can edit this video. Or,
It
like,
gives you that hunger. I remember that
I'm not
feeling
doing
too.
this forever, bro. Like, it's just annoying as hell. Like, I want to put some time in. I quit today. Fuck y'all. And I'm like, wait, I actually kind of got stuff to pay for, and this kind of helps with that. So I'm here tomorrow.
Yeah, and there have been times too where I'm just like, it was never like a serious thought, but I was just like, man, like this would be so much simpler if I just like quit right now and just got a normal job. And then in the back of my head, I'm like, I could never actually do that. Like, I'm tripping. But at the same time, it's just like there's been so many frustrating times. And whenever I was saying about like putting the time and effort into the videos more, it was never just as simple as that. I'd be sitting in my office chair getting frustrated because I'm like, oh, I'm still not done with this video. I've been working on it for so long. And I'm like, all right, take a step back, go chill for a little bit, like come back to it and get it done the right way.
I had to learn that too.
Yeah, and it kind of worked out well since I wasn't getting as many videos at that time, because I was like, all right, well, I have the time to sacrifice and I don't got to rush it. This person can wait another day. Like, they're not tripping. They're going to get a better video. Yeah.
And because we realize a lot of the time the pressure and the time clock, we put it on ourselves, like, because we have these expectations and standards, which is good for us to have, but then we also need to realize, is this realistic, or am I like OD tripping on myself right now? Like,
yeah, and I think like earlier on, that was whenever people would be tripping a little bit more. But now they kind of understand like the time that needs to be put in. But like I said, I've gotten faster at a lot of this too. So it does help. And then I've also kind of changed my process about like how I like send videos out to, like, whenever I first was doing them, like I would do rough cuts, but I wouldn't send them to people. And I would just be like, I'm gonna just send you the final. But now it's like I'll send people a V1, V2, V3, and then V4 is normally the final, or V3 is the final. And then Capo walk down up there, he was the one that told me. He was like, bro, I love whenever you send those. I love whenever I see like the progression from V1 to V2. And I was just like, man. And then he was like, and it gives your clients confidence. He's a smart dude. He was like, and it gives your clients confidence that you're working on their video and not just sitting around not doing anything. And I was like, I like that. That's a very smart take. So that was another reason why I started doing that more, because I just like building that cameraman client relationship. But yeah, shout out Walk Down. He's getting the first shout out today.
Yeah, shout out to Walk Down. Definitely another friend to the podcast. So definitely go check out his episode. Is there any other artists during that time frame that you feel like helped sustain? I know Genre is probably one of your guys, because you outside of just work, y'all have a good relationship.
Yeah, that's one of my best friends. Shout out my boy Genre. Yeah, so I mean, we got locked in at HMAC, and we were doing the shows together, and I'm just kind of I'll go into a little storyline here, I guess, kind of. But like, whenever I'd say I was up financially, I was like trying to find other avenues creatively. So it's like me, Juice, and Rello. Well, Juice and I, we were just in the car one day. Shout out Juice and Rello, next shout outs. We were like, yo, like we should start a podcast, like Juice, Tanner, Rello, JTR, and it was I forget what it stood for, but there was like another like meaning to JTR. So we were doing that, and that was like it was cool, but I realized as we were starting to talk about things, I was like, I don't have anything to talk to them about, because I wasn't like delved in like the mainstream media and stuff like that, and paying attention. So then that just kind of fizzled out. And then that was like around the beginning of that depressive period. Which is like, when I say depressive period, it's not like I was just like feeling down all the time, but it was just like mental health, like really up and down. And then Genre and I got tapped in at HMAC probably a year later or so, maybe a little less than that. And that was super cool, because we were going to all the HMAC shows pre-COVID. And then when COVID started, they stopped doing hip hop shows. Like everything was shut down for the most part. So we were like, all right, dope. Like this is something that we were a part of then, and now we get to bring it back to people now. So it's like I was trying to balance that and a relationship and my videos, and then other work on top of that, just because it was so up and down with everything in my life at that point. So Genre had a conversation with me, and he was basically like, I'm just gonna do the shows now, because he was the one doing the like most of the communicating and everything. And part of me like wasn't trying to let it go, but then at the same time I was like, you know what, it'd probably be best for me. So then I was like, all right, well, let me just focus on what is going to help me the most right now, which is strictly sticking to videos and carpet cleaning, because that is what is going to
pay the bills,
to help my life out. Yeah. And that was definitely the good call. And I am really proud of him too, because he has been killing it with the shows over there, and he's learning to make flyers and everything. Well, he is making flyers. He's still learning to make flyers. They're getting better, but yeah, he's handling that, and he's great at doing business. So yeah, if you're trying to perform at HMAC, tap in with my boy Genre, and he might be able to get you on a show.
He said, and the shows definitely are lit, have good crowds every time. So.
Oh yeah.
Pull up.
Yeah, it's awesome to have a spot in general too that's like local in the city for hip hop shows, because I feel like, especially as nice of a place as that is, I feel like other places I went to around, like not around here necessarily, but just like
in general.
It's just like not
hip hop's not.
They're just like not nice looking places, and HMAC is such a nice looking place, and it's a very good professional setting for that. And it's just like, since there's a bar right outside, people come stumbling in, and they're like, oh, this is hard. You get like the old white ladies in there. They're like turning up.
Crowd in here cheering you on.
Yeah.
Now you got new fans that you never knew. But so you spoke on a little bit earlier, but you are in a relationship. I believe you guys been together for what, 5 or so years, maybe a little bit more.
It was 6 years on Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Well, Valentine's Day, which is in another edition outside of the relationship, you guys got engaged. So congrats on that.
Thank you. So we got engaged on September 21st last year, and this isn't public knowledge yet, but we got eloped last Friday.
Oh shit!
So it was on March 21st, and we didn't plan it, but it ended up being 6 months exactly after.
Wow.
And
talk about an exclusive.
Yeah, and we also we were fortunate enough to be able to buy a house together as well.
Wow. So this is
and this is what I say. It's like, whenever I want to tell people that this stuff is possible, it's really possible. And I mean, like, I'm not saying it's just by my power at all either. Like, I give all the credit to God as well. Like, I wouldn't have any of my talents without God.
Amen.
And I mean, like, she is such an amazing person, and I love her to death, and I'm so blessed to be able to spend my life with this person. Mm-hmm. Ara, shout out my wife. Crazy to say still. Like, wow. Yeah, it's a nutty thing to say. But nah, I love her so much, and I'm excited to build our life together in this place.
So how did you even know, like, marriage, like, it was the time to even make that move?
Well, it was kind of odd, because like, her and I were friends before we ever started dating. Well, we were like frenemies, I guess, type thing. It wasn't like flirty. It was just like, we'd get along sometimes. Like, we met in church, and we'd get along sometimes, and we wouldn't like each other other times. And then in 2018, I think, was whenever I went to video school. Mm-hmm. And I got out of like a pretty short, like, I really didn't have too many serious relationships. Like, I dated a girl for like a month, and the girl before her was like 2.5 months. And then her and I started hanging out more afterwards. And before we made it official, I was just like, I think this is who I'm going to end up marrying. Like, I just had a feeling about it. And then I never even asked her to like be my girlfriend, but it was on Valentine's Day. I guess it would have been 2019. Yeah, 2019 at this point. And my little brother, he was just like, so are you guys dating? And I looked at her, I was like, I don't know, are we? And she was like, I guess. So then we just made it official that day. And my little brother, he's so funny, but he's 13 now. He's like almost 6 feet tall, like crazy. Yeah.
Dang, that takes away one of my questions. I just realized the date set had already happened.
Yeah, no, you're good. It's really cool though. We got a cat. I got my lizards, and I got my axolotl, and we're gonna try to. There's this other cat that like hangs out at her nana and papa's that we're gonna try to adopt too. Oh, and I got my bunny out back. Yeah.
So, what's the family like? Because obviously, you can't just get married and the family don't support. So
yeah, no, they're super supportive of us. Like her, I'm not gonna get too into it, but like her parents are divorced, and they're both happily with other people now. And my parents are together, and my siblings both live there. But the coolest thing that I absolutely love is that her mom and her husband bought the house right behind my parents' house.
Oh wow!
So my parents are on Street, and their parents are on Street, and it's just like you walk out back to the yard through the alley, and then their yard's right there. So it's just like when we go visit, like they're right next to each other, which is sick.
Was that like intentional, or it just happened to be the house with the best price?
It just happened. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say best price, but I feel like they definitely got a good deal on that spot. But yeah, no, it's a really cool dynamic for that. Yeah, definitely.
That's dope. So you spoke on the pets, but are kids in the future?
Yeah, we've talked about having kids. She said she'd only push out 2, which is totally fine with me. because we've also like talked about adopting at some point too, because we were probably thinking about 3. Okay. Which if you're watching this and I'm incorrect, I'm very sorry, but this is what I'm
still
yeah. But my sister, she's adopted from Guatemala, and that's just like something that's always held like a really close place in my heart. And so I mean, if we adopt, I would potentially like for it to probably be a Guatemalan child, but I mean, I'm not sticking to that. Like if we're called to go in another direction or whatever,
you would just follow wherever.
Yeah, and we actually went back to Guatemala, her and I, with my family, this past summer, and that was my sister. She just turned, I think she turned 19 in November, but. So she was 18 when we went, and she graduated high school. So that was her first time ever being back to Guatemala since she was adopted. And there's like a water fountain there, and there was a picture. I have it in a post on my main Instagram. There's a picture of me sitting there with her stroller, and we like retook not the same picture, but we took a picture in front of the same fountain. And it was just like, it was so amazing to be able to see her like where she came from. See, I feel like I'm getting emotional talking about it, but no, it was just like, I know she's been waiting for that for so long, so it was just like amazing to be able to see her in the place that she came from, you know?
I think that's dope, and it would be a blessing to whatever child, you know, that you're called to adopt or however that may go.
Yeah.
Y'all put a limit on 3. Y'all might end up with 6, 7, 8. Who knows?
I don't think I could handle that many. Videos aren't paying that. No, I'm just playing. But
yeah, they pay that much.
Yeah, we'll see.
But that's your ultimate vision for yourself, or who do you envision yourself as a husband, father? Like, who do you hope to be?
That's a good question, because that's been like an interesting place where we've been at recently, and I'm just like, there's like a lot of parts of me that I'm working on fixing, and I mean like not just through my power, but like through God's power and God's grace as well. So like right now I'm really trying to focus on my faith and get myself pointed in the right direction. And so I quit smoking like probably like close to a month ago.
Okay.
And it's just, I feel like a way bigger sense of clarity, and I feel like there like I don't like to say that smoking held me back that much, but I think it really did. And it was just like but even then I was still working really hard, but now it's like I feel like I can turn it up a notch even more, and then like focus on the things that I really need to focus on. And even in regards to her, it's just like there were so many things that I was like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna do this, like, and I wouldn't follow through. And it's just like I need to be on point in all aspects of my life, especially whenever like I'm trying to put another person before me, like her right now. But then at some point, if there's gonna be kids too, like I really got to make sure that I'm just on the right track and not messing up. So I don't know. I'm just like, it's a
journey.
Yeah, it's a journey. Life is definitely a journey, and I'm also seeing like through whatever y'all believe in. I'm sorry if you don't agree with me, but it's like through God there is salvation, get into heaven. But it's also like there's an earthly healing behind that too, to where it's like I see how much brokenness I'm around, and that's like why I get into how much I love my community, because I see how much they're hurting sometimes and feel like I can offer them words of kindness, prayer, whatever the case may be. It's like I'm gonna do that, you know, because like I want to see not just these people succeed, but I just want to see them do well. Even if it's not in the music realm, like I just want to see these people I care about do well.
And I really relate to that because I have a strong sense of faith and relationship with God as well. And one thing I always, like a thought that comes in my mind, like, am I not in my path yet? Or is my video production, like, am I supposed to be using it to push him forward, like literally? Or like, am I supposed to be mindful of the messages? I'm like, I always think of that, like, because it is a balancing act. And I know everything that I do, I give him the credit, but like, I also am I being contradicting by not like
Yeah,
being
no, I
mindful
feel
of what I'm putting out?
I feel the exact same way. And yeah, it's definitely like we're also blessed, cursed with free will. So I mean, like at the end of the day, our decision making is still up to us, but like we can pray about our decision making as well. So it's just like I know I've been given my talents for a reason, and I also know I don't put the cleanest content out there like with the artists I work with. But I mean, it's still my job to give people the videos that they want, and if I can make an impact on them, like I feel like that's what matters the most for real. So I'm just I don't know. I'm just trying to show these people love that like they may have not seen before, not just like through me though. And I think like that was something I would get kind of clouded in before, and because it's like whenever I was smoking, it was like I wouldn't like. I feel like the majority of people, especially in a music space, like we turn into daily smokers, and it was just like I think that was something that played a key part in like the depression aspect for me, because like whenever I'd go a couple days, take a tolerance break or something, I would be like, oh, I'm starting to feel like happier again, and then I would kind of just like repeat this cycle. But it's a really hard cycle to get out of, and I'm not trying to talk down on anybody for like
It's really a
for doing anything either. Yeah, it's
yeah.
just like I needed to get myself on point, because I was having these conversations with people like kind of like what we're having now, but I'd be like, yeah, like I'm trying to show people like you can really do things with your talent, da 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 da. But it just felt like empty words. So I mean, if I encourage you, I'm very happy I encouraged you. But like there was just like this sense of this emptiness I kind of had behind it whenever I would be telling people that stuff, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, that makes total sense. Could you ever see yourself banning like dissing on your platform? Like if the music is contributing to any type of like literally talking dissing, I don't want to create that content.
Yeah, that's a good question too, because I feel like it's so hard to control other, like I don't want to say control other people, but it's just like I don't know. I think over time the content is gonna like continue to change, and I think like with me growing on this path, that things like those aspects are gonna grow as well, and it's just like I don't know. I wanna definitely be like a little bit more mindful to an extent too, and because like outside of that, like I'm also seeing like the other like the real life stuff going on, and like it just doesn't need to be pushed any more than it is at this point, and that's something I think about, and I'm like, am I a contributing factor to I don't know. I'm not gonna really say too much on any of that for real though, but like, you know what I'm saying?
Am I helping push forward something that I'm like, I'm doing my job, but it's what I'm doing. Helping, help push the bullshit. Like,
yeah, words hold power, and words.
Egos are soft, low, so it's like
100%. Y'all need to start using your fists for real. Yeah.
Or your words too, because sometimes it ain't even worth the fight. Y'all just gotta.
Nah, she definitely right.
That's what I really
use your words or your fists,
preferably.
But, preferably.
No, but transitioning back kind of into life today, I feel like one of the biggest things that I noticed in your career is the credits in the type of artist you're working with now.
Yeah.
In these past few months, you, for people who don't know, have credits on the Lil Baby and Future 99 video, EST GEE, Little Skies, Meek Mill. So how did that even come about, like those type of opportunities?
All right, so I'll start with the Sky stuff, and that was something I was chasing for like mad long. Like Rello knows, like I mean Rello for the most part, but like all my homies and stuff, like from whenever I was younger, like whenever I was in, I think it was 12th grade, it was like about to graduate, so it was like 2017 was when I started listening to Skies, And I just remember I kept seeing people post about him and like saying he was a local rapper. And I was like, why would I tune into a local rapper? And then I was like, you know what, matter of fact, I'm going to tap in. So there was this girl, she sent me like 2 songs. And it was Real Friends Don't Exist. And there's another one, but I forget what it was. And I started bumping them. And I was like, hold up, these are hard. So then I started becoming a really big fan. And then I was also like a really big fan of MGK at the time too. I'm still always gonna I'm still a fan of him. I'm still always gonna be a fan of MGK. I've been listening to him since like 8th grade. But then they did a collab song on MGK's album in 2019. And I was just like, yo, like the worlds are colliding. Like it was just such a crazy moment. So yeah, no, I mean, I just kept getting myself to be around and kept trying to put myself in that position, but not just being like, yo, like I'm around, let's shoot, because like I never had a conversation with Skies. Like it like took a long time to actually have any sort of conversation, but I was just kind of putting in that background work, like doing the recap videos, like just taking pictures, doing whatever. So then whenever Sam started shooting videos, I was like there helping him, and so would Chaz, and like we were just kind of like, I mean, Sam was doing all of his own editing and everything like that, but like on set we would just be helping him out and doing whatever he needed us to do. Yeah, I remember one time I broke his VHS. I felt so bad.
Oh damn!
I like knocked it off a stool by accident. And he called me like a couple weeks later. He was like, "You knew this call was coming, bro." And I was like, "What?" He was like, "I need you to send me 100." I was like, I got you, bro. So that was funny, but no, it's the cool thing about Sam too is that like him and I, obviously we met because of the Skies stuff, but it was after, like I went to the last Thought Lot show in Shippensburg that Skies had, and I think, I don't know if Sam was there with a camera or maybe it was a different show, but I remember he messaged me like a couple days after because I put up some like footage from my phone, but I was literally just in the front row. Like I pushed my way up to the front. And he was like, yo, were you shooting? And I was like, nah, I wish. And then our friendship just kind of spawned from there. And I've known Sam for probably like 6 years now, I think maybe 7. So it's like seeing him go from this fan kid, which I didn't know him when he was a fan, like he was starting to shoot stuff at that point. So seeing him go from that to like working with these artists that he wants to work with, working for Lyrical Lemonade, doing their behind the scenes, and then now making music himself and performing at Summer Smash, like insane.
Right.
Like he is a testament of like hard work pays off for sure. So yeah, that, and then like since like Sam lives all the way over in California, so then Skies and I gradually started working together just because I'm a little more local to the scene. And yeah, no, that's just something I'm like very, very thankful for, and that was a very big reason why I was able to afford the portion of like the house. Like my girl and I both put in the same amount of money, but like because of the videos that we did, that was like a main reason why I was able to make that happen, and that's just something that like I will always be appreciative for sure.
And then what about the collabs with Lil Baby and EST GEE?
Yeah, so that was all from Carter. I know you said about Meek Mill earlier. We were working on some stuff that ended up not coming out, but that was cool. I wasn't really tripping on it because it was just like, I was like, yo, like I get to work on some of this footage. And then it was like, you know, there's always that disappointment factor, but at the same time I was just like, you know what? Nobody's able, like there's so very little amount of people that have been able to say that they've been able to like work on this type stuff. So I wasn't really tripping. And then Carter and I didn't talk for a while after that. And then he was like, yo, I'm shooting this Baby and Future video. He was like, I want you on it, da 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 da. I was like, all right, bet. So it's like, with his videos, like we'll edit them together. And like, since my effects are like, not just the drawing effects, but like the other effects, it's like they're cut in with the shots. It's like we'll do the editing together, and he'll like tell me where to place stuff, and then I'll add in like the effects and stuff as well. So that one, the Baby and Future one in specific, was a funny situation because We were probably working on it for like 5 days straight, and then didn't hear anything from him from like 2 days. So I'm like, all right, cool, everything's good to go. And then Arlie and I, we were driving to Ohio because we went to like this wedding band workshop. So like we made our rings. Like we were there for like 6 hours or something like that. It was really cool. But we were on our way, and he's like, yo, Future needs changes on the video. He's like, I might need you to pull over. I'm like, bro, I got my girl with me. I'm not pulling over on the way to Ohio right now.
Like, I cannot.
So I had to wait till we got to the hotel, and I had my laptop and everything with me. And yeah, that was a rough night, and like because like my laptop is slow.
I'm gonna say it's not
And I didn't have
working.
I didn't have the same fonts, so like the original title was a little different, and I had to like, whenever you go from editing on one computer to another, it has to relocate the footage. So it was like doing that, but it didn't do it all automatically, so I had to go in and manually do it. And then the craziest part about it was like they had put the video out already, and I have a screenshot of it, and it said Lil Baby Future 99 not approved in caps, and I'd never seen anything like that before in my life. So I ended up having to stay up until like 4 a.m. to get that done. And then, and I mean, I felt bad, but like she also understands that I got to do what I have to do at times. So yeah, stayed up till 4 a.m., woke up at 8, went down to the hotel, got breakfast, and we went over and did the ring workshop. But yeah, that was stressful for sure.
But
and then
came out and it's fire.
Yeah, and then the EST GEE ones, pretty much the same situation. He lets me have a good amount of freedom with like the drawing effects and stuff that I add in, just because like he trusts that I'm gonna put them in the right places and everything. And if there's ones that they don't like or he doesn't like obviously I'm gonna take them out. But yeah, that Carter definitely. He said to me the other day, he's like, because I was getting a little frustrated. We're working on a Zillionaire Dough video right now, and he was just like, bro, the only reason I'm hard on you is because like I know how great you are and like how great you're meant to be. And I was just like, I can't even be mad at that anymore. So all I can, yeah, man, all I can do is be grateful and thankful to Carter. Shout out Carter Visions, my boy. Very much appreciated that I can that I'm trusted and able to work on these projects with him. It's an amazing thing.
Do you have a favorite video that y'all did so far?
That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like I have to say the Baby and Future one just because that's like such a legendary. It's like that was something that I was just like a lot of things that don't process to me until months later, and I don't know if that's still one that kind of has, but it's just like. Because I think I'm so used to going out and shooting videos that it's like when I don't experience it in real life, it just feels like I'm playing a video game while working on it.
The whole time. Like,
yeah, so I'm just like...
Millions of people seeing my work,
it's crazy. And then the funniest thing was I was like, this is all dependent on me. I'm on my laptop in a hotel room, like, for this to get out to everybody. So it was like a very... it was a bit of a nerve-wracking feeling. And this is another reason like why I care so much about like the local scene and stuff, because like the big stuff is really cool and I love being able to work on it because I'm glad I can show people like, and I know I said these were empty words before, but now I feel like they don't feel like that anymore. But it's just like being able to show people that this stuff is possible and also bringing more traction to my page so that whenever people work with me, they can like get a little bit of a following. Like even if it's like 5-10 followers, like that's new people that are tapping in, you know? And at some point it's going to be more than that. So
that's definitely important.
Yeah.
Outside of the videos you've done with Carter, do you have a favorite video of your own?
I just missed my mouth.
Oh shit, I missed all that.
It's all good. Go. Sorry, what
I
were you
was
saying?
gonna say, do you have a favorite video that you've done personally, or a couple of favorites in these last couple of months since you reinvigorated yourself?
So I like all the ones I've done with Skies. So our first one we did was Wake Up, and then we didn't shoot anything for like 6 months, And we didn't really have a plan for Wake Up. We just kind of run and gunned it at the studio. So whenever we did Thousands, that was when he was getting his face tattooed. And I was literally like editing that video like my life depended on it. I was like, all right, this is my...
I gotta knock this out.
Yeah, it's like my comeback. Like, this is what, like, my redemption video. Like, I gotta go crazy on this, and I still feel like I did. Like, I really love that video. And then the most recent one we put out too was High Maintenance with Skies. I love that one a lot. Like, me, Juice, and Noah, we set up a room with shout out Juice and Noah. That's like my team for real. If I can consider anybody a team, it's like they're not coming out to every shoot with me, but it's like when I need them, like, those are my guys. They're there. But they helped me set the room up, shooting BTS, like, just keeping me company. It's like those are the very good homies. Those are my brothers for sure. But outside of that, Darko and I just put out a video for No Friends where we were in Philly and Chicago, and Chicago was for Summer Smash, so we got some shots out there. That was cool. Let me take a look at my gram real quick, because I know I got some cool ones that definitely deserve to be talked about.
The one that comes to mind is that OT Mar Go Part 2.
Yeah.
That one go crazy.
Yeah, no, that was fun. And having Tay in that video, shout out Tay, like, his acting was so funny. It was like, Mar was like, yeah, we're going to have Tay in the video. Shout out Mar, too, because I'm talking about him right now. But Mar was like, yeah, we're going to have Tay in the video, do a skit. And I was just like, all right, like, I don't really know what you're talking about, but okay. So it was like they pretended to kidnap him. Or not, like, they were, like, playing Mar's old video in the intro. And then Tay was like, who's this? Like, this is trash, da-da-da-da-da. And then his bull was like, what you say? Like, and then they took him and slammed him in the chair. And then it's like throughout the song, it's like, it looks like he's like hating in the beginning, and then he starts like kind of vibing throughout it. And it was like, it wasn't even fully planned like that, unless like that was what they talked about. But yeah, no, that was really cool, because I like started to see that come to fruition as I was editing it. I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. Like, this is sick. Bargin with Wapo. I really like that one. Shout out my guy Wapo. 1900 Prayers with De Niro. We did that one here.
How could I forget? That was shot here.
That was so much fun. That song is amazing. I love that video so much. It turned out great. Moon Rock. Moon Rock is an amazing video.
That's Tilo, right?
No, but I had Floating Rocks and Tilo.
No, Moon Rock, that's the one with...
So Tilo's was Bounce Back, and I did this one first. And I low-key like the Floating Rocks better in Tilo's, and I didn't mean to like copy them after each other. It was just like...
It just worked out like that.
Yeah. But
Moon
no,
Rock
Bounce Back.
KJS and all them.
Yeah. So, all right, so shout out Tilo for sure, because like he was one of the first Harrisburg people to ever tap in with me. And yeah, love him, love Mike Mobbin. Like, they're the homies from like back when I first started, and they always believed in me. I always appreciate them for that. So Moonrock, though, it was a song Cody put together, and I'm just including all of these as a shout out at this point. This is a song that Cody put together, and he got KJS, NBM Miz, and Third Baby Chino on, and those are all my guys. And I originally, like, we went to the abandoned hospital in Harrisburg. It's like kind of down the street from Pro Sound. And then literally as soon as we pulled up, an officer came back there. She was like, hey, like, I don't care that y'all are back here, but in 15 minutes, the other officers that are going to be on duty are going to care, so y'all should just leave. I was like, all right, don't worry about it. So, and I was just glad that she was cool to us. So then we went to the one parking garage in the city. And I was like, all right, like, let's just shoot it. Like, we'll get individuals with y'all and we'll get some group shots together. And I didn't know, like, I had no clue what direction I was going to go with it. So it was like I start editing it, and then I probably stopped for like 2 weeks or so. And then I think I was in the shower, and I was just like, oh, like, what if I make it Space Age theme? Because I kind of already had that idea in mind. Like, I wanted to put planets in the sky, but I also didn't want to, like, the shots were moving too fast and didn't really work out. So I started with the rocks, and then I kind of built off of that. And I was like, well, let me make it look like like high-tech space age, like kind of give it that theme. And then there were people I talked to after, they were like, I didn't even realize I was the parking garage in Harrisburg.
Yeah,
So it was just
crazy.
It was cool being able to like show an environment that people have seen, but like it's almost unrecognizable to an extent, and just like also showing like some of the buildings in Harrisburg in there, and like having planets behind them or having rocks flying by. It just like it looked really just
amazing,
different. Yeah. I got one more that I'll add in there, and it's the Do This For What video with my FBN guys, and that was with and their FBN things right there. I see Spooky and Cross right there too. Cross wasn't in the song, but I got my Cross Irwin merch on right here. Yeah, that's my brother. So yeah, but we did a. This was the end of my era of like doing events, but I did like this pop-up event at Connected, and after that I was like, man, it's too stressful, because I was like, whenever I was deciding to not do shows and stuff too, and I was just like, all right. So then we did a free video giveaway, and Jordan, he won. He's a part of FBN, and like I didn't know Jordan that well, but I had seen him at pretty much every HMAC show that we did, and he was always super supportive. And I was just like, you know what? If anybody, like, I mean, I think I picked his name out, or maybe Reem picked his name out. There's a video of it somewhere. So none of this was planned. But Jordan he was just like always there supporting at all of the shows, like turning up, like absolutely loved it. And I was like, man, that's great that he got picked, because I couldn't think, like I think just he deserved it so much for the support that he showed. Mm-hmm. So we went to the abandoned turnpike, which I had seen pictures of before, and Spooky, his girlfriend Kaylin, they got a baby on the way too. That's an amazing thing. She grew up around there, so she would like guided us through the turnpike tunnel, and that thing was like probably over a mile long, maybe 2 miles long, and it was cold in there. But then we get to the other side, and you can go up to the top, and there's like a factory inside. If y'all want to watch the video, it's called Do This For What FBN. I mean, you scroll down my Instagram page, it's on there too. But yeah, no, that was so much fun. And yeah, I was just really glad we were able to do that, and the drive was definitely worth it.
For the company, what do you feel is going to be next?
See, that's a good question, because like for a while I've wanted, like, I mean, okay, so let me start with a little bit more of a basic answer. Everything I've done up until March 21st, I edited under my parents' roof, in my basement, in their basement. And so it's like my organization with paperwork and everything has been horrible. Like I just have, like, I'm good at keeping things organized, but it's also just like to an extent, because it's like my hard drive's super organized, like everywhere, like with the video stuff is really organized, but it's just like the paper aspect, taxes, like all the extracurricular stuff I am not good at. So like one of the big things I really want to do is like get that aspect of my business down pat, so where it's just like I don't really got to think too much. I'm making sure like the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and that I can just stay organized. So by going into this new house that we have, I can kind of start from scratch in a sense, and like learn how to do things a whole new way, and build a better structure and a better organization foundation to what's going to help me. And I mean, at some point I would love to open some sort of studio. Like, I don't know if that's going to be like necessarily what I'm called to do, but I feel like that would be a cool area of growth. And I remember vividly, like whenever I had that realization, it was Sel and I, we were in New York, and we made a pit stop in New Jersey at the Wave Change studio that's run by Corey Hallam, if that's how you say your last name. Sorry, bro. Corey and Logan and their other homie Steve Gronk and I forget their other homie's name right now, but they're all super cool people. And I just saw like how their dynamic as a team worked, and I was really inspired because I would have people for years be like, yo, you got to get a team, you got to get a team. And I'm like, what are you telling me right now? Like, I just didn't get it because I'm like, I'm working on videos on my own. Like, if other people want to pull up to shoot, that's cool. But, like, I don't always want to organize having another photographer come because then I got to talk to more people. And then, like, I don't like people to not get paid for their work either. So it's like I don't like people asking people to do stuff for free. So it was just like a big, like, people would tell me that, and I'm just like, stop telling me to get a team. Like, I do all my own editing. Like, I don't need it. But then whenever I saw them operate in a way where it's like Corey and Steve, they do the editing and the filming, and they're not necessarily both on every single project. They're both very talented individuals as well, I may add. And Logan is the main talker. So he's like getting them bookings and doing his own thing on the side too, and they're just like building the brand of Wave Change together. And it was just like really cool because I was just like, I never, like, people would say team, but I had never seen a team operate as a team up until then. And I mean, I don't know if that's the direction that things are going to go, but it's like, I know a lot of talented individuals in this field to where it's like, if I say Juice and Noah are my team, like that might not, I mean, like, I'm not saying this in a crude way, but it might not always be like that because like they're talented as well. They could be going on their own path, and it's like, and it's like some people are meant to lead, and some people are meant to be led. To be led, yeah. And like my dad always told me from a young age that I'm meant to be a leader, and I feel like that's kind of the place that I'm working on getting right now. And it's like I just don't want to predict too much because I don't want to like have things set in stone to a point where it's like, if that's not what happens, I'm gonna be disappointed because it's just like having a bigger portion of business like that is more responsibility, and it's like, who knows when I'm gonna be able to handle that responsibility or if that's gonna happen. So I mean, I would love to be able to expand and do something like that, but at the same time, it's just like,
you gotta make sense.
Yeah, I gotta make sure it makes sense, and I gotta make sure that it's not like my timing, but it's God's timing. So yeah, that would be cool. But yeah, just I don't know. I want to get used to like living in this new environment first because at the ripe age of 25, this is my first time moving out, y'all. I was looking at people. I was like, this is one of the reasons I was depressed for a while too, because I'm like, man, all these people are moving out. Like, I'm getting older. Like, I don't have that much money right now. Like, my business isn't doing great. Like, I just felt like a loser a lot of times. And I'm not trying to say like anybody living at home is a loser. You are not a loser.
It's just a self-progression. Like,
yeah, it was just,
get older, it's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, I felt stuck, and I was like, I'm very excited to get out of that time period. And I'm like, all right, now I can work on being happier. I can work on myself. I can like build
the life that you want for yourself.
Yeah, 100%. Or yeah, not even the life that I want, but like the life that I deserve and am meant to have, because like what we want isn't always what we need or what's best for us, you know. So yeah, I'm just like trusting the plan, and it's not always in my hands, and I'm okay with that. So
no,
yeah.
I'm definitely excited to see where you go creatively in these next couple of months. Well, you're actually going forward, because like you just had such major life changes from marriage, homeowner, but also it's like all great things because it's putting you in such a stable place. Like one thing I keep hearing men say is like once they got married and like committed to that life, everything else became so much more easier for them to navigate because they had a stable setting back home. So
100%.
I definitely think that would be great for you. What's next creatively? Like, is there any shout outs, any projects you got coming up you want us to be on the lookout for?
All right, well, I gotta shout out my boy Terrell Brown, because I posted some of the homies on my story the other day, and he was like, come on, man, you know I'm the hottest out here. And I'm like, yes, Terrell, you are fire. Shout out to my boy Terrell Brown. He went to Carlisle and I went to Boiling Springs, and our schools used to beef, and it was so funny, bro, because there used to be this mini rap beef, and there was like this standoff at the train tracks. It was so
wow.
weird. But Terrell, he is somebody who has been putting that work in for as longer than I have. He started making music before I started making videos, and he's about to be a father as well. I'm very proud of him. And we just shot 2 Mike videos the other day, or yesterday actually. So we'll be putting those out. We'll probably have at least one of those out before this interview comes out. But yeah, he's somebody who I've seen grow a lot over the past couple years. I'm proud of him. And Bmar, my boy Brandon, one of the first people I ever shot a video with. So he was the second person I ever shot a music video with, and we really started like locking in together like when we were both first starting. And he sorry Brandon if this isn't public knowledge, he also got a kid on the way. And I'm super proud of him.
Everybody's having I'm late to the game. I ain't got no kids.
Yeah, I'm waiting on that. We got our cat, and that's enough for now. And there's Bmar right up there. I see his big head poking out through the other pictures. But nah, he's such a great dude, and he's always been so supportive. And I'm really proud of like his growth as an artist and as a person. I gotta shout out my boy English, Grant. That's his real name. Grant, I love you, dog. But Grant was there the day I shot my very first music video. I was still in high school. It was my senior year. I remember I edited the video in cooking class the next morning. I didn't know what I was doing. It's for his boy Dalty. And this was Grant, sorry if I'm putting your information out there too much. Also, don't care. He used to struggle with alcoholism, like really bad, and he's been clean from that for a long time now. But just seeing him go from like that person to where he's at now, like with his music and his faith, and just seeing how he's grown so much, it's an amazing thing to see, and I'm really proud of him. Fad, he doesn't really make music anymore, but at that Sky show in the Thought Lot, this was the only Sky show I ever went to as an audience member. But I remember I was there with a couple of the homies. Chaz was definitely there, but I don't think I drove there with him. And then we were all in the crowd together. It was Chaz and Darko were there together. But I went there with my boy McDaniel. He was also one of the first people I started locking in with videos. I love him to death. But he was like, and he was such a sarcastic person. But McDaniel was like, yo, that guy over there in the crowd, he said that he makes music. You should tell him you heard his last song. And I was like, all right, bet. So I was just like, yo, bro, like I heard that last song you put out. He was like, what song? And I was like, you know, the last one. And he was like, oh, all right. And then later I came up to him. I was like, bro, I was just kidding. Like, I didn't hear your music, but I make music videos. Let me get your Instagram. And then that was Fad. And then probably like 2 years later, he opened up at that Polo G show at Rollerway. Mm-hmm. And that was the next time I met him in person. And then we shot a video about a year after that, maybe. And then this is all going to tie in together. Like, there's so many crossover episodes in a sense. So met him in Shippensburg, and then because he was still in college, I went in there, and it was him, Zerby, and Sarah Miller, and some of their other homies. And then that was where my relationship with Fad and Zerby started. And Sarah was the girl in the video. Fast forward a couple years later, now Sarah and Darko are together in their loving relationship, and it's been great watching them grow recently. And then that turns into my shout out for Zerby and Darko, because one, stupid proud of Zerby for getting to where he's at right now, and just like putting the work in that's necessary. And he's such a great dude. I love him. And then Darko, like him and Chaz, known Chaz for like 15 years and then Darko for 10 years. And we've been through like a lot of ups and downs together, like within our friendships and within our lives outside of that. And I'm just like really proud of them for getting through all that stuff as well. And Yeah, no, it's just like, it's just been amazing to watch like these friendships and these relationships grow over time. And like there's been a lot of times where I haven't been able to give my full self in my friendships, whether it be like because of work or because of where I'm at like mentally. And now I feel like I can like give myself to people a lot more like when they need me, or just like trying to be a good friend, or be a good like be a good influence, because I understand now that it's like I'm kind of in a position of influence when it comes to helping people with their, like if we're at a shoot, like we're talking about your problems, like I'm gonna help like give some wisdom or some knowledge, even if I haven't been through that problem exactly. Like I've been through a lot of other stuff too. And yeah, I want to be able to offer more than just like videos for people. Like I just want to I don't know, I want to be present, and I want to be able to continue to become more than who I am and who I was. Shout out to Genre again. That's my dog. That's my brother. That's like like day one is a very not generic term at this point, but the lines kind of get blurred. But he's always been somebody who's been very supportive of my craft. And then outside of that, shout out to my family, like my parents, my brother, my sister, like my siblings are so supportive of what I do. And my parents are just like, they're very supportive of me and Arlie in general. And shout out Big T for doing the interview. But my final shout out goes to my amazing wife, Arlie. I can't wait for this. See, I'm getting emotional again. I can't wait for this life that we're going to spend together. I can't wait to build this life with her. And yeah, I'm really, really excited for what's to come. And I'm excited to become like the man that I'm meant to become, not just like for me, but like for her and my family and our future family as well.
I like that.
Yeah.
Did you cry on the wedding day?
A little bit, yeah.
I could tell.
Yeah.
Nah, that
we had our siblings sign. It was just like us four chilling. We had our siblings sign like the document and everything, and it was cool. We got crepes, and some macarons, and had some mimosas. For sure. Definitely necessary.
Hey, for sure.
Yep.
No, but I'm really happy. This is what this platform's for, like a follow-up interview. I'm always down to do, because, like you said, life goes through so many ups and downs. And one, it was just nice to hear you open up about like what may have been perceived as the highest times in your life, which could have been professionally also contributed to, you know, the down times, and having that personal expectation is really what pushed you into this new stratosphere. Because, you know, we do the same thing, but I'm a fan of your work as well. Like I'm watching every drop, I'm paying attention, and I can see like, oh shit, this is different. That's why I say like that OTW Marvel. I always keep saying that, because I'm like, bro, this nigga's turning up. Yeah. Like what? All right, say less. Like I like that. So
yep.
I always appreciate your support coming through, whether it's booking the studio for music videos, coming to be a guest on the podcast. It really just speaks to what you're saying as far as building a community and pouring into those in various ways. Because I know in our city, well, in Central PA, but more so in the creative scene, it's people tend to think we're competitive against one another. Yeah. It's not. We can't work with one another, which may have been a thing in the past, but I feel like that's changing a lot. So I appreciate your support a lot.
Definitely. I would say, to add on to that, as an artist, it's very, very easy to undervalue the collaboration aspect of things. And I'm not trying to call anybody out by saying this, but it's very easy to think in a selfish manner as well. Mm-hmm. Whenever it's just like, oh, I'm the one making the music, I'm the one that's going to make it, da-da-da-da-da. But at the same time, it's like, how many people we see make it out of our area? And how many other areas are there around the country where they really work together and turn each other up? And that was why I was such a fan of Cody getting that collab together with the guys for Moonrock, because it was just different. It was like, I never did a 4-person song before. I was like, this is something that could encourage people. And yeah, it's just like we're not a big city. Like, we're not Atlanta. We're not LA. We're not New York. I mean, we're not New York City. Like, we're spread out in a sense where it's like we got Harrisburg. I'm just speaking about South Central PA at the moment. We got Harrisburg, York, Chambersburg, Leb, Lancaster. I don't know if I placed them in the right directions, but it's like
they in there.
Yeah, but it's like whenever you put these places together, we are a city, and it's like we need to encourage each other. We need to work together, and just like don't think you're top dog because you're not. I don't even think I'm top dog. I am nothing compared to like a lot of these people, or just in the grand scheme of things, I am nothing. So stop thinking of yourself too highly and just have fun with it, because odds are, if you're only thinking about yourself, you're not going to make it anywhere. So just be nice to others around you and have fun with your craft, and stop getting mad at people if they're not taking you seriously, because you probably don't deserve it.
Amen. I think it's the perfect message to close this interview out on. Again, I thank you for your time, your wisdom. Probably have another follow-up interview in a couple of years.
100%. We're gonna do more than one. Like, we're gonna be like OGZ and No Jumper. Like OGZ comes back on No Jumper every year. And just like you're such a valuable asset to our area too, because it's hard to get people that are genuinely good at doing interviews, and you always come prepared and you always know exactly what to say after. And I appreciate you for real. And I'm glad to have you be a part of our whole scene out here, and I think it's such an amazing thing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you guys again for tuning in. It's your girl Big T, Tanner Hench, TH Media, Cloudy Conversations, and we're out.
We are out.